1, 2, 3, 4. It must have been moon glow way up in the blue. It must have been moon glow that brought me here to you. I still hear you saying, dear one, hold me fast while I keep on praying. Dear Lord, please let this last. We seem to float right through.
Hello, my name is Andrew Sexton. I'm here with Paul Ross. We're going to be talking about the Falmouth Jazz Stroll 2024, which is coming up October 5th from 3:30 in the afternoon till 9:30 in the evening at 10 different venues in Falmouth, along Main Street and Queens Byway, and in wonderful settings all along the way. We'll talk about some of the musicians. I know that Paul, you've got a long association with Joe Mangelli. He's the
Yep.
his trio is first up at the Black Dog General Store at 214 Main Street.
It's a great venue, a great store, and a really good venue. Joe's got a trio playing. Joe's an excellent trumpet, flugelhorn, cornet. Kiddingly, he says he plays D trumpet also. Great musician though, and a very well educated, well spoken man. So I'm sure there'll be some educational aspect of that too. Basically, it's a trio playing the typical American songbook tunes, but Joe will give it a different bent. He likes to take a traditional, for lack of a better term, Frank Sinatra kind of tune, and give it a whole different rhythm. Sometimes Afro-Cuban, sometimes he'll make a 4/4 into a waltz. He does all sorts of stuff, but it's very interesting. Top quality group, trio. It'll be Joe on the trumpet, and then a excellent guitar player. I believe it's Gary Gross, and an excellent bass player whose name I can't remember right now, but I'll get that to you when I talk to you next. And they're playing starting at 3 o'clock from 3 to 4 at the Black Dog General Store, which is at 214 Main Street in Falmouth.
And then just down the street from them at So French, which is a new venue for us, a great store to go into and check out all the.
It's a real small store, so you have to make sure you look for it.
Yeah, but it's got a lot of exotic French imports in there.
Careful.
Careful. There's a lot of wonderful things to taste and try in there, and they're going to be featuring Nice and Easy, which is
That's a basically jazzy, bluesy kind of group. Andrew and I, both being musicians, refer to it as more of a bluesy than jazzy, but Chris Locascio, who is the leader, says really they focus on both.
Yeah, he's the pianist. He's playing. That's his group, and it's a nice group. Further next up and they're playing from 3:30 to 4:45.
Yeah.
At 303 Main Street. That's called So French.
And Chris has with him, he's got Billy Hayes on drums. Billy Hayes lives in Sandwich. Peter Ray on electric bass, and Chris himself plays piano and sometimes organ. He'll put the organ stop on his keyboard. And they're a little more eclectic. They do artists, music from Thelonious Monk to Ray Charles, Eric Clapton, Taj Mahal, Dr. John, and of course Bob Dylan, if you can understand what he says. So then we have an Afro-Cuban group called Bongo Genesis, and I have to say I've never heard them, but I've heard nothing but great things about them.
Yes, that features Olivia Yingling on vocals, and that's the only Afro-Cuban group playing on Cape Cod, indigenous to Cape Cod these days, and it's quite a different look on or sound to for our
So
listening
music,
enjoyment.
for the Cape.
Yes.
There'll be no. Well, what are those? The old English songs on the sea?
No,
sea shanties.
no,
There'll be
no
sea
shanties. No,
yeah.
no sea shanties.
And they're playing at Museums on the Green, which is a beautiful facility by itself. And as you go down towards the end of Main Street, as it gets ready to split, you stay to the right on the split, and it's right at the beginning of that street. It's called Museums on the Green, and it's 55 Palmer Avenue. And did you tell them when they're playing?
They're playing from
4
4 to 5:15.
So we're overlapping them a little bit so that you have a chance to stop in and enjoy some people for 15 or 20 minutes and still be able to make the next group.
In fact, there's a
After that.
lot of overlapping performances down that end of Palmer Avenue. The Fred Clayton Band, which is basically a blues band, is at the Howling Bird Studio at 115 Palmer Ave, and that's a great rousing blues band. It's a quartet.
Yep.
And they're real crowd pleasers there.
And Howling Bird Studio is, just so you know, they do promotional materials, like they'll do T-shirts or do hats or any of those kinds of things with your corporate name on it, or with some interesting saying you want to put on it, like "I'm secretly checking your grammar," or something like that. But it's also a great store, a fun store to visit also at the same time.
And right across the street, Tish Adams duo will be playing at the Byway Barber at 49 North Main Street. Best barber in town, that woman in there, she's great. And that's from 4:45 to 6 p.m. And Tish,
I'll take the next group. Or do you
want to talk about Tish a little
I
bit?
was going to talk about Tish. Yeah. Tish is a wonderful jazz singer. Been around for a long time. She's got family that lives in Falmouth, although she lives in Rhode Island, and comes to the Cape quite often, almost weekly. A great artist, so a real classic jazz singer, in the best sense of the term. And we think she's got Paul McWilliams with her.
But we don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, because Paul is also playing with Bart Wiseman later on that evening, so I think it's going to depend upon the overlapping of the schedule. But I'd like to focus on the next group. There's this guy named Andrew Sexton who's got a trio.
Not that guy. Again this year?
Andrew, he just cannot get over Andrew.
Oh,
He's
why?
always there.
Jeez.
But he's playing at Coffee O, and which is at 110 Palmer Avenue. Those three clubs or venues are all really within a 3-minute walk to each other. So make sure you catch all of them if you're down that end of the store.
Yeah, I'll be playing from 5:15 to 6:15 with my trio, Alex Zulli on sax and Harry Cook on bass.
Harry what? What's his last name?
Cook.
Cook. Harry Cook. Okay, well, that's Dennis's brother. Yes.
Yes.
The other thing is you could probably go to the Coffee O almost any time of the day and still see Andrew there.
That's not true.
That is true. That's every time I want to see you, I just go there and I can find you there.
I don't hang out there. I just
No,
go in
you
and
just
get my
drink
coffee and
there.
leave.
That's right. All right. And then the next great artist is Donna Hammers. And Donna Hammers is a real mainstay of this part of the Cape. She's multi-talented and does all sorts of things all over. But this particular event, she's being a jazz trio. I think that's what she said she's doing tonight. For that
I think
night.
they're playing at the Pickle Jar Kitchen at 170 Main Street from 5:30 to 6:45. And then
the Pickle Jar, by the way, is a great restaurant during the day. They generally close around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, 2 to 3. Excellent food, gourmet food. And then they'll reopen in the evenings for special musical events. It's not every night of the week, but they will open, and they do open. And then they have a cash bar at that time. And it's a real fun place and a great place to eat any time of the day, really, as long as they're open.
Then coming up at the Main Street Gallery at 6 to 7:15, we've got the Paul Ross Group
Oh,
trio at 189 Main
I
Street.
better call the guys.
Yeah, better.
That's I call it a cocktail jazz trio. It's myself on alto sax, which you might see Andrew and myself playing on this video.
I don't play any sax on it.
No, not sax. No, he's a guitar player. But it's myself on alto sax, Matt Hutchison on keyboards, and Ron Ormsby on upright bass. Those two guys are excellent players.
Yeah, Ron. I know Ron's playing.
Some of the most requested jazz musicians on the Cape, for sure, no question. Matt is a real aficionado of Bill Evans, and if you know Bill Evans, if you're a jazz fan, you probably do know Bill Evans. And Matt is kind of eerily plays a lot like Bill Evans. I'm wondering if Bill Evans wasn't really his father.
I was looking forward to that.
But it's a great group, and Jim Fox has a great art gallery there, higher end, really top quality artwork. So come on down there. Jim also always has a good party, so it'll be a fun time down there. That we play from 6 p.m. to 7:15 on that at the Main Street Gallery. It's the gallery that's got the you'll see that's got the bright silver looking, chrome looking artistic sculptures out front. Really interesting stuff. That artist lives in Provincetown. You want to talk about Jim?
Yeah, I'm especially excited to hear Jim Robitaille group. He's coming with a quartet. I've heard him before.
I love it.
I've heard him before, and I think he's just terrific. When I listen to his music, I don't hear any cliches, which is remarkable in this day and age. And he'll be at the Gallery on Main from 6:45 to 8. That's 317 Main Street.
So don't get those conflicted.
Yeah, there's
the Gallery on Main
and the Main Street Gallery
up behind, across the street from the library. The Main Street Gallery is to the other end of Main Street, sort of across from the quarterdeck. I'd say I tell people that the Main Street Gallery is across from the quarterdeck.
Yeah, and
Cafe.
he's bringing Jim, of course, plays guitar. He's bringing John McKenna on tenor sax, Tom Casal on acoustic bass, and Chris Powder on drums. I've heard this group as a trio without the sax player, and they are just dynamite.
They have a great reputation around town, and they just did a concert at the I think at the same venue. They're the Gallery on Main, right? Yeah. Let me see. Yes, they're at the Gallery on Main. Jim Robitaille.
Yes.
And he just did a sold-out concert probably a month ago at that same venue. And always does very well. People love him. There's a real crowd pleaser there.
And then the last event of the evening is Bart Weisman Group at the Vine Restaurant, which is a fairly new Italian restaurant in town that's been supporting a lot of music the last few months. And it's a great eating place, good Italian restaurant. And it's Bart with a trio. They're playing from 6:30 to 9:30. And it's a good place to finish up the evening, get a little something to eat, and relax and listen to the music. That's at 824 Main Street.
And that's actually a little, not directly on Main Street, the shopping area of Main Street where the rest of the Jazz Stroll is. But if you go, what is that now? I get my north and south screwed up. I think if you go south on 28, sort of headed out of Falmouth.
It's across from the Dairy Queen. You can't miss
everybody will know where the Dairy Queen is. Directly across from the Dairy Queen. It has a nice big parking lot, which hopefully will be full for all of them.
Yeah,
and it's a well-known jazz drummer on the Cape.
There'll be some parking provided around town at the Mullen Hall School, Catherine Lee Bates Road, municipal area, Falmouth Town Hall, Museums on the Green, and Queens Byway all have parking areas for people to
And
bring
the Queens
their cars.
Byway is down at the end of Main Street, sort of where where Tish Adams is playing.
Yes.
And who else is playing? You're playing at the Coffee O. And
Howling Birds down there. Museum on the Green is down that way.
Those are all down there, and there's a parking area, nice parking area there. You could start there and work your way back up Main Street, or start at the other end by the library, by the Mullen Hall School parking lot, and work your way down to the Queens Byway.
Right. The Vine Restaurant is in the Falmouth Hotel, which is right there, across from the Dairy Queen.
But more likely you'll recognize Dairy Queen. Yeah. So don't forget, this is a free event.
Rain or shine.
And it is rain or shine, and it's basically a free event thanks to all our sponsors, which I would be remiss if we didn't announce them.
We have some video clips of previous Arts Falmouth events that feature the artists that are going to be performing this year in the Jazz Stroll. Starting off, we have the Joe Mongelli Trio.
Joe Joe's six-piece jazz group performed for this year's Arts Alive event. Excellent group, and this would give you a good idea what to expect when you see Joe's trio play at the Jazz Stroll. We have an excellent excerpt of Nice and Easy, Chris Lacasio's Jazzy Blues Trio, coming up. That's also from a 2023 Arts Alive function. Bongo Genesis is represented by a performance by a similar group featuring mostly the same people called Cognitive Dissonance. The Fred Clayton Blues Band from the 2023 Jazz Stroll. I got it.
Well, I want you to tell me. I want to know what's going on. Well, I want you to help me. Well, I want to know what's going on, baby. But I don't know why. The sun don't shine. Will be the city of paradise.
Enjoy your viewing, listening to Tish Adams as she sings at a former Arts Alive function. Great artist, always with a great backup trio or quartet.
Me, I don't stay out, ain't nowhere to go. I'm home about it.
performance by Andrew Sexton, the gentleman sitting next to me, strangely enough, who will be performing at the 23 Jazz Stroll at Coffee-O. This is a performance he did a few years ago at the Jazz Stroll.
Night and day, day and night. Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you. Night and day, day and night.
Then we have Donna Hamm is coming up with her group from last year at the Jazz Stroll.
Always here when you sigh, never in my world and could there be ways to reveal in a phrase how I feel. Did you ever hear two turtle doves, Bill and Coo, when they love? That's the kind of magic music we make with our lips when we kiss. And as the week be over love, he really knows how to cry. That's how I'd cry in my pillow if you should tell me farewell and goodbye. Birdland whisper low.
My trio has never performed at the Jazz Stroll before because it's a new trio, but my big band called the Cranberry Jam did a performance with the Arts Alive Festival in June, and so we're going to give you a little segment, a short segment of that band performing, and hopefully you'll enjoy it and you'll come by to hear the trio in its premiere year.
Fantastic, fantastic, that's you. I brought my accompanist. Yes, and then you kiss me, heaven opens wide, and there you are.
The Jim Robital group performed a couple of years ago at the Jazz Stroll, and we have a little taste of him for you to listen to.
Bart Wiseman is a perennial, has been a perennial at many of the Arts Alive, Arts Falmouth functions. So the next is a snippet, an excerpt of a performance he did. Most likely, the most recent one was 2023, the Jazz Stroll. the Paul Ross Trio, and I want to thank you for sticking by and watching this presentation, and hopefully we'll see you all at the Jazz Stroll. And Andrew and I here got together and thought we'd play a little tune to end this presentation, and hopefully you'll be encouraged to come listen to us individually, because we don't work together, but maybe after this,
Who knows?
Andrew willing, maybe we'll do it. We'll actually play together. But thank you for watching this video, and I hope we see you
Yes, and
at the Jazz Stroll.
it's a terrific old tune, about 90 years old, called Moonglow.
Yeah. And remember, the Jazz Stroll is October 5th, 3 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And we hope to see you at those presentations.
And thanks for tuning in.
It must have been moonglow way up in the blue. It must have been moonglow that led me straight to you. I still hear you saying, dear one, hold me fast, while I keep on praying, dear Lord, please let this last. We seem to float right through the air. Heavenly songs seem to come from everywhere. And now when there's moon glow way up in the blue, I always remember that moon glow brought me you. Now when there's moon glow way up in the blue, I always remember that moon glow brought me you. I always remember that moon